Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics. This is episode number 1999 and Doubleshot number 1893. I have two trades from two crossovers, mostly put they're just containing miniseries. The first one I'm discussing here was recently counted as part of numbering for Electra. Yeah, when she basically hit 100. We have Dark Reign Electra by Zeb Wells and Clay Mann. Yes, this awesome miniseries. And yes, we see her rear end. And you're probably thinking, how long ago this miniseries came out? Do you really want to know? This came out roughly 13 years ago. I'm not kidding about that. It seriously did. And this is one of the reasons why I have always felt that Zeb Wells is a very underrated writer. Because this book is good, but it seems as though he doesn't get a lot of work at Marvel. That's the problem with Zeb Wells, is that Marvel doesn't give him a lot to do, but the guy is really good at writing. And yet you give Amazing Spider-Man a really good title, and that book has got mixed reception. But it's mostly headed toward negative than positive. Though the biggest negative I have with the book is the fact John Romita Jr. is on the artwork. Yeah, in the case of Dark Reign Electra, this book is set after the events of the crossover Secret Invasion. By the way, the cover here, that's Lee Bergamo. I've never met Lee Bergamo, but the guy is a really good artist. Some of my favorite books by him. Now, I've met the guy. He's freaking collaborations with Brian Azzarello. Really nice guy in person. I believe I met him. I'm trying to think. I think it was at Meg Orlando. I think it was. Meg Orlando. Yeah, I think it was Meg Orlando. I met him. Yeah, he worked on books with him like Batman Damned, which is a recent book he worked on. Joker, Luthor. He worked on a miniseries. I think it was another Black Label book that he worked on. Clay Mann, met him. I met him at, I think it was the Orlando Toy Comic Con. This was about 3 years ago I met him. I actually did see him once again. Just this year, actually. He was actually at the very same booth that Tom King was at. Yes. He was actually right next door, and he was wearing a mask, well, because of stuff. And basically, I mentioned he was my favorite artist, and he says, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh, because Clay's here." It's true. I like his artwork. I love Clay Mann's artwork. Now, I did tell him something Neil Adams once said about his death threats against him that he got banned 50, and he admits, yeah, that's something Neil would definitely say. Zeb Wells, I actually met him just this year. This was actually at, I'm trying to think, what event was it? It was actually Meg Orlando I actually met him. Yeah, this is why I met him. This was just after the release of issue 1 of his current Amazing Spider-Man run. Now, I have always been a long-time fan of Zeb Wells' work because, like I keep saying, very good writer, and yet he's given a big name title like Amazing Spider-Man, which is probably by far the biggest title of his whole career, and it's a run, like I said, mixed reception. This miniseries, it's mostly put basically Hammer. Now, this is basically Electra's up to Wrath and Secret Invasion, where people tend to question if she's a Skrull or a human. Though she is knocked out by Iron Man. This is, of course, just before he lost his position as Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. So they put like a barrier on, and of course they examine her, and they prove, yep, she is definitely human. And she wakes up, and she's not on the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, but a helicarrier run by frickin' Hammer. Which means Norman Osborn is here. Now, this is not Mike Diodato doing the artwork. This is, of course, Clay Mann. So, of course, he is not drawn. Now, here's the thing about Mike Diodato Jr. I've talked to another artist about this. Even he agrees. This I thought was so strange. Mike Diodato has a fetish for when he redraws he draws Norman Osborn, draws him like Tom Lee Jones. Even though the guy is probably no interest in playing the character. So he sees this, and then she sees all the Hammer stuff, like something's really wrong, and then by the end of issue 1, by the way, in case you're curious though, does she win the polls in the miniseries? Yes, she does, when he's basically dressed up as Hawkeye. Because it's Dark Reign. Yeah, he basically decided to disguise himself as Hawkeye. because that was identity no one Ozma gave him. And it was pointed out, I think it was the pages of New Avengers, I think it was, where Clint said this: the only Hawkeye I recognize, aside from myself, is Kate Bishop. He does not recognize Bullseye as Hawkeye. So we see all this, the thorough examination, corrupt, and then eventually Electra is basically like, kind of like tortured in a way in these issues, basically because of her, well, because everything happens. And eventually by the end of issue 1, of course, we get a close-up of her rear end, because she's hot, she actually escapes. And she takes a part of a, basically a shirt that a female scientist was wearing, and, of course, shows off her bra. More job, please. Of course, she thought that Electra was going to kill her. Like, yeah, thank you. And eventually, then she puts on her glove, the purple glove she got for the air scientist, and then she puts on her headband, puts on the shirt as a headband to form, yep, she's back. Now, I've always loved with the headband. I was not really a big fan of the fact that for the Netflix show, they got rid of that. So pretty much with this issue, so basically she begins to escape, and she does successfully escape from Hammer. She gets shot in the shoulder, and looks like she is shot in the hip too. And eventually, of course, basically you have Norman being talked to by Victoria Hand. Of course, she puts on his tie. Now, I have to keep pointing this out, though. Victoria Hand is a lesbian. Now, I appreciate the fact that the writers don't obviously point out, yeah, Victoria Hand. I'm glad the fact that Marvel Comics at the time, they put this in the book to remind people that she's a lesbian. Victoria Hand, deputy director of Hammer, also a lesbian. Because at the time, Marvel didn't treat people like they're freaking stupid back then. Unlike in the pages of American Chavez, where when they had her title come out, they made people every single issue that she's a freaking lesbian. Yes. I had to keep harping on stuff like that. Sorry about that. So we have these two people who are hired by Hammer, and then you have Foggy Nelson show up because Electra's from the Daredevil comics. So he goes to look like Matt Murdock's office, and then he sees Electra's there. It's like he's like, Electra, if you're looking for Matt, he's not here. You better go. And of course, now this is strange though. In this panel here, she looks like she's holding a big, thick brown book, and then by the next panel, she puts back a green book. I may have talked to Clayman about this. This is so odd. And then he slips some paper, and then eventually Electra sees some pills. She's like, you listen to me? And then he sees that she's coughing up blood. And she says, the stars are safe in the sky. What does it mean? He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Matt told me you were replaced by a skull. An assassin sent this to me as an explanation for his attack. And why it was targeted. So then she collapses. And then we see Bullseye in the Avengers Tower. Yes. Avengers Tower. Remember this particular building? A building that Marvel Comics does not give a damn about using anymore in comics? A building that was designed by David Finch? Yes, David Finch designed this freaking tower. And this has not been used as Avengers Base Operations since 2015. That was the last time officially was used. Because after Avengers Secret Wars, they sold off the freaking top. No, Tony Stark sold off his building to some other guy who turned out to be a version of Kang the Conqueror. And he's never gone back. Eventually, yeah, so he has to go after. Yep. Bullseye go after Electra. Also, for some reason, they have Electra on the covers of this book, despite the fact she's not wearing that in the book. Well, look like she's wearing these long gauntlet gloves, and she's got these metal bands. I'm not sure what Lee Bajarin was thinking when he designed this outfit for her on the covers. Also, Electra's wearing earrings in the book. Yeah, on the cover, she's wearing earrings. In the book, she doesn't. And then she's basically brought before Night Nurse. Yes, Night Nurse. A common player in the late 2000s. And at one point, she slept with Doctor Strange. No joke, that seriously happened. He had a relationship with her when he was separated from Clea. And currently, not anymore because Doctor Strange is dead, even though he's the Harvester. It's just kind of weird. So, we see Electra here in her white underwear. Because, of course, Clayman's got to show off this because Electra's hot. And then eventually she just disables her IV. She unplugs her IV and snaps it. And then she throws basically like something at her knees. And because, well, she's about to be shot by this assassin, this red hair assassin. And apparently she takes out this suitcase she apparently held against the wall, which apparently had her weapons in it and her freaking outfit. Yeah, then no one else was. We have these French tourists turns out to be Skrulls, and then we see like a body of a dead Skrull. I think this is supposed to be Valkyrie. I think this is supposed to be the woman who was Electra. And then you have Electra 3 issues in, finally put on her freaking costume. Yes, her iconic costume that Frank Miller gave back in the 80s. And this costume like a heck of a lot better than the costume from the Netflix show. Of course, she had a miniseries with that costume. Then she takes out the assassin. Of course, she blocks and she fights her for like several pages. Of course, the woman's given a black eye. Yes, a black eye. And then, like, she sees the assassin's pointing her. Then eventually the assassin is taken out by frickin' Bullseye. And he's like, sorry, I get kind of jealous. No one kills her but me. Because he's killed her before. Issue 4, like, oh, look, Wolverine's the cover. Is he going to appear in the book? Well, I'm about to find out. You have Electra sneak behind frickin' Bullseye as Hawkeye. And he's like, hey, doll. You recognize my voice? Bullseye. Thought you would. Yep. And then, of course, basically, he fires a gun and throws a bullet at her. She catches it, and then she just fights him briefly. He's like, wow. Not bad. He's like, God, I love watch you bleed. Excuse me. And then she kind of like squeezed out the gunpowder of the thing, and then she's like, oh, you're no fun. Crimmy. Get up, soldier. And of course, another butt shot for Electra. Because, of course, Clayman has showed the fact Electra's hot. Falls off building. Now you're probably wondering, where the heck is Wolverine? Then we finally see the actual more fight between Electra and Bullseye. And finally, toward the end of issue 4, Wolverine finally shows up. And stabs the Hammer Agents and saves Electra. And then we get to the final issue of this miniseries. Where you have... Then for some reason... Now here's the thing. In the previous issue, we have Wolverine in his John Cassidy costume. I think it's John Cassidy. Yeah, I think it's John Cassidy costume. Yeah, then for some reason... And then here he is. Oh yeah, he's in John Cassidy because if it was Jim Lee, the slashes, the claw marks on the sides... those actually black if it was Jim Lee's costume. This is actually John Cassidy costume. So after stopping her and eventually having Logan basically track down where everything else where Electra is, how is the place treat you? I know it's a bit dodgy. It's quite like I said. Not a bad place to get your hard work, get your head together. Where is she? Feeling better, I see. The girl. I did what you said. I turned her loose. She was a pro, but I'm me. Don't stand a chance. I tracked her. Yep. Head to Japan. And then eventually have a guy who's like, Agent Brothers Report for Duty. Of course, takes off his hammer outfit. And just puts on a shield outfit. Yep. And eventually, like... So apparently, then we see... Solo... Yes, we see Solo in this book. Yeah, I know this is Solo, despite the appearance. That's James Bourne. He even has a brief ongoing series. Now, why is he here? Don't know. And eventually, when Oz chimes in, of course, they have Electra put on a black outfit. Oh, then we flash back to Enemy of State, where the Black Hawk. This is something that was actually brought up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. book by Mark Guggenheim. Or apparently Electra was wearing a different outfit at that point, and of course we have the Black Hawk, which, yeah. Then we have this weird moment. We have her firing her, and then we have her, like, this weird panel where it looks like that Electra's standing in front of her with their hand around her, a woman standing behind her back. It's kind of weird, though. It's almost like implying that Electra and this woman are kissing. But then they show a close-up like, nope, not kissing. And then she just rubs her finger in her place, and then she kills her. Of course, Oswald mad at her, and then that's it. That's miniseries. Yeah, I checked this out purely because of the fact that I like Electra. And, well, Zeb Wilson, this is just a really good miniseries. I get this one a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is the final trade to discuss for the crossover that came out earlier this year from Marvel, Devil's Reign. This is Devil's Reign, Villains for Hire. Now, there is a one-shot collection in this trade, which I'm not going to be discussing, and that's Devil's Reign Moon Knight. I've already discussed that already. The main mini-series, which is only 3 issues, done by, a writer by the name of Clay McLean Chaplin. He hasn't done many books for Marvel. Aside from this book, he worked on the Planet Sibos miniseries from King of Black, the Scream ongoing series. This only was taking like his 3rd or 4th book he worked at Marvel. Yeah. Now you're probably thinking like, why in the world is this like the guy hasn't done many books at Marvel. No, he hasn't. Yeah, oddly enough, like I said, he has not that many books. Yeah. I mean, I think I'll pretty much cover like a lot of the stuff he's done at Marvel. I mean, this is pretty much what I have covered that it's written by him. Excuse me if I get the thing to move here. The thing is taking a period of time. We have Marvel Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Spider-Man, number 7. Oh yeah, it's a tie-in TV show. We also have one for the Avengers. I think the first official comic in universe one he worked on was Amazing 700.4. Already discussed it. Edge of Spider-Verse, Avengers, discussed those already. Iron Fist, the digital one. I think this was Phantom Limb. Yeah, I've already discussed this one already, so that's another one to discuss. Typhoid Fever. I don't think I've discussed this one. I remember I have. Some Experiment. Yes, I've covered that one. Venom, Invaders, Scream. By the way, this miniseries here is the last thing he officially worked at Marvel on. Yeah, that's kind of weird. The fact this was the last book he worked on. This one came back in... The last issue came out in March. Yeah. Why the heck he isn't any Marvel since then? I have no idea. So, pretty much with this miniseries, you're probably thinking, is there anything really left to discuss at Marvel for him? Journey to Unknown Worlds, and... Well, it's just that, and Typhoid Fever. And that's it. That's the only thing I'll discuss for him. Yeah, just a cut, some one shot. That's pretty much it. Now, Villains for Hire. This is simply put, basically a continuation of something that was started from the pages of Punisher, where the Kingpin was introduced to the concept of Thunderbolts. Now, that book actually brought about the original Thunderbolts. And after that particular series wrapped up, this, of course, Matthew Rouse doing this. Apparently, they had them bring back the Thunderbolts, this time as special agency for New York City. Yeah, and at the start of the miniseries, Dark Reign, Villains for Hire. Your members are Taskmaster, Whiplash. This is based on the character from Iron Man 2. Rhino, the female Electro, and Agony. You're thinking, Agony? Yeah, she was a character from Extreme Carnage. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much in the way who your lineup was, basically, with this book here. And then by the start of the very next issue, uh, U.S. Agent joined the team. Yes, U.S. Agent joined the roster because he's the best person to handle this team. And plus, he can work with the U.S. government. So, basically, their job is to handle threats in New York City. It is interesting to see a team of Electro associated with a team like this. Because last team she was associated with was the Syndicate. Yes. That was the last group she was associated with was the Syndicate. That was from Amazing Spider-Man. Because here's the thing. You might be curious, though. Like, what was her most recent appearance prior to this book? Well, prior to Villains for Hire, her last appearance was in Sinister War. Yep, that's the last time she showed up. And pretty much after Devil's Reign wrapped up, her most recent appearance was actually in the first issue of the current miniseries Thunderbolts, done by Jim Zub, another underrated writer in Marvel. So yeah. So you see basically like at the end of issue where you have U.S. Agent Report of Duty, and then it's like, I hear you're looking for new recruits. Sign me up. And you're like, everyone out. And of course you have Kingpin saying this. I didn't where they ran meet. Which butcher delivered to my duty, to my city? The feds? The DA? Who? I can't on my own. You need my help. You're smart. You can keep your Thunderbolts on a long leash for so long. You can run into a major problem, and you think you promise to solve it? Why did you join my Thunderbolts, John Walker? Because I didn't vote for you. You put Thunderbolts to play. You're taking a hard stance against superheroes. I'm sure you've done the math. Sooner or later, they're gonna bound to start playing by their own rules. I can keep a short leash on your bad guys. Make sure you play nice with the police. Everyone stays safe. Thanks to your Thunderbolts, I'll get stuff done. I don't walk the line. I don't cross that line. I am the line. And then Kingpin's response is, "Congratulations, you're hired." Yep, it's a good argument. He basically handle. Okay, you have Agony just dealing with these basically jewel thieves who basically wearing like a mass of a looks like a bunny, look like a bear and a giraffe for reasons. And they apparently have female Electra, like, ooh, shiny. She's about to steal it, and then she gets hit in the back by U.S. agent, who also has got a Thunderbolt symbol on his shield. He's like, put the ice back. Who's this guy? How can Taskmaster not know who a U.S. agent is? The public knows who he is. How the heck does U.S. agent not know who he is? Let me guess, the conservative here. Dollar Big Captain America? Okay, that's funny. In fact, he's saying, Jenner, I'm the guy who's in charge. And why should we listen to you? You're just a lower-rank Captain America. I guess someone needs to babysit you thugs. He jumps over Rhino and smacks... Looks like he just smacks Taskmaster in the face. Blocks Electro's electric blast. And of course, well, Whiplash. From now on, you are the law. And of course, he knocks them all out. And of course, you just walk by himself. You're hiding something, aren't you? Who says I got something to hide? Agony's like, come on. We all got our secrets. Strong, sadly tamed like you. All brawn and bravado on the outside. What show on the inside is on the inside. And she proceeds to lick his face. That's not gonna work on me, sorry. I know your type, Walker. You're all surface, an empty shell. But if I cracked you open, you're completely hollow. And apparently I'm sure there's a wire, and he proceeds to remove it and throw in the garbage. Just cause. And then we see, looks like some purple hand touch a guy and brainwash him. And of course you have Fisk debuting Thunderbolts. And of course managed to handle like a near riot problem. Thanks to one of the Purple Man's children. And of course, like, yeah, and by the way, the cover of the third issue is like, oh yeah, let's beat up John Walker because he's a jerk. Yeah, typical him. I wonder if he still got cybernetics because actually, I think I remember from the I remember reading from the Dark Avenger series. He actually has a partial. He has a lobotomized Venom symbiote. What if he still has it? I don't know. And of course, basically, you have Ram picks her up, carries like a doll. And of course, you have Walker talking to Fisk. He's just like, Mirror Fisk, now will be a good time to be here, show your face to other people. I'm out there, promise people there are an event. Keeping the Muslim was your job. Something happened to Electra. Someone possessed her, possessed all the people. Clear this mess, do it fast. I got another job when you're through. I'm not losing access to your incompetence, Walker. And he proceeds to see him put out fires. Him saving a little girl. Of course, Agony just still trying to seduce him. Then we see the Corruptor, and of course she's corrupting people again. Yeah, and then of course you have her. We see her face. Yes, we see Agony's face. Yeah. Yeah, talk about bringing the purple children. And then he gets sort of possessed. And then apparently Thunderbolts welcomes the Abomination to the roster. Yes, Abomination. We get stuff happen. Dark Reign. And more stuff. Purple Children. And the thing ends with basically says the results of the epic encounter or unfold Devil's Reign. Yep, and that's pretty much the mini-series nutshell and the whole crossover. The mini-series is really good. Give one a 9.5 out of 10. Final thoughts on the crossover Devil's Reign. Was that a terrible crossover? No, not really. It was actually a very good crossover. I think Chip Zdarsky did a good job with it. Excuse me. I know he received some flack for his Daredevil run. Excuse me. And of course, he still got ready even after Dark Reign. And this miniseries will lead into another miniseries, Thunderbolts, a revival of the series that was canceled in 2017. You know, it came back this year. It was gone for about 5 years. They described the article as like an old title. 5 years, you call that old? And here's something interesting though. Did you know in the movie version of the Bolts, they're having U.S. agents part of the lineup? And some guy, I basically called him out this. He thought, oh, the Thunderbolts, founded by General Ross. Nope. That was a decade ago. The Thunderbolts first formed back in 1997. This is basically the Sanction team. This is another Sanction Ross. This is basically Fisk's Thunderbolts that basically was continued under Jim Zeb for a 5-issue miniseries, which I don't think they've released final issue just yet. I don't think so, no. I mean, it seems quite interesting, though. They brought back Thunderbolts as a limited series, and the final issue actually comes out next month. Yeah, only by this point, they've released 3 issues so far. Yep. Where basically now it's a team run by villains and a jerk. It's basically a full-blown superhero team. Yeah, that's basically what it is now. It's back being a full-blown superhero team. And it's mostly just Fisk's Thunderbolts. Well, actually, it's a revival of the classic Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, yeah, I'm pretty much looking forward to discussing that miniseries when it comes, like, when it's put into trade. And it's interesting though they brought in the Purple Children for this one. Yeah, my only guess is the reason why they're put into this miniseries, and this is just my personal theory. They probably put them in because that sets up pretty much the end of Devil's Reign. Yeah. Um, with this also, I have also pretty much reviewed the entire crossover. Because if you think about it, the crossover is mostly comprised of the main miniseries, a handful, like not many one shots, surprisingly. Yeah. Oh, by the way, at the end of the miniseries, Rhino quits the group. You're probably thinking, how many miniseries are there? Well, for one shots, there are one, two. Yeah, there's only shockingly about 3 one shots. Yeah, 3 one shots. All the limited series for this one. Devil's Reign Superior 4, this miniseries, and X-Men, and Daredevil World Without Fear. All 3 issues. Not 6 issues, just 3. We had 2 ongoing series for this one. Yes, just 2. And that was basically Moon Knight, 1 issue Moon Knight, and 2 issues of Spider-Woman. There was actually another series tied in this one, but it was canceled for reasons. And it was going to be a Luke Cage miniseries. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it got canceled. It was going to be done by Ho Chen Anderson. Do not know why the series got canceled. It just did. And here's the thing. The only thing, because that miniseries was not released, so the only thing has released by Marvel that this guy wrote was Amazing Fantasy 1000 and Wakanda, well, soon to be Wakanda number 3. And that's it. No, seriously, that's basically it. I have enjoyed reviewing Devil's Reign. The one problem I have with the crossover is the fact it ended Spider-Woman. Yeah, pretty much like not long after the tie-in wrapped up, it had 2 more issues out, and that was it. So unintentionally, this series got canceled because of this crossover. Because that sometimes Marvel does this for reasons. I have no idea why. Okay, so that's a particular review. I'm just going to go ahead and watch Chainsaw Man next, and then I'll call it a night. So it looks like it's going to be not 3 anime tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be more. Okay? Next video. Bye.